Hi guys, it's Rach. Today you guys are all up right, nice and close. It's actually a little bit scary. My face looks massive, but we're up close and personal because I'm going to be doing a foundation review and demo. Today I'm going to be looking at the Chi Chi Fabulous and Flawless Foundation. I've mentioned this before and I posted in a photo on Instagram and I got a lot of requests to do a review, so that's what I'm going to be doing for you today. I'll give you some information about the product, show it going on my face, and I'll also cut back at the end of the day so you can see how it wears after a full day of application. I'm going to jump straight into actually applying the foundation, then I'm going to talk about it as I go along. I'm going to pop a little bit of primer on. Now different people have different, I guess, preferences to how to test out a foundation. I like to test it out how I'm going to wear it, and I usually will wear a primer or something on my skin, so I think it's only fair that I test it out doing that exact same way. It's really up to you. I know some people like to see how the foundation wears with absolutely nothing, but honestly that's not how I would wear the foundation. So I'm going to pop a little bit of Benefits Professional just in my T-zone. I'm going to take the product. As you can see, it has really nice packaging, has a nice frosted glass bottle with a lid and a pump. It does say to shake well before use, so that's what I'm going to do. I really like the pump itself because it doesn't disperse too much product. So you will need a couple of pumps depending on how thick a foundation you want and how much coverage you want, but it's great because it means that you don't over apply foundation. If you don't want to use a lot, you don't have to because the pumps are quite small. I'm going to pump out 2 pumps for now just to see how we go. The one downside of the product, I would say, is that because it is a really nice sort of fancy looking glass bottle, if you do travel a lot or if you do apply your makeup in the bathroom or standing up, if you do have the tendency to drop the product, then it's going to shatter on you, so that's probably a downside. But it does have really nice looking packaging, and if you're careful with it, it works quite well and is quite functional. So I'm going to start applying this with a brush to begin with. I'm using the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. I will also show you how it goes on with a beauty blender as well. Talking about the colours, there are 10 colours in the range. I have shade number 2, which is Fair. So it's the second lightest shade, which is potentially a downside given that I am not the palest person in the world and I wear the second lightest shade. So if you have really fair skin, that kind of peaches and cream, I guess, skin tone, then this may not work for you. Similarly, if you have really dark skin, then I know that girls who fake tan wear shade 8 or shade 9, so you may find it difficult to find a shade for you. But the good thing about the shades is that on each of the boxes it does tell you what the different skin tone is and the undertones for it. So this one, for example, is for fair skin with light pink undertones. There are ones with yellow undertones, there are ones with more neutral undertones, I believe. So it does make it easier to pick a colour. And if you've never picked foundation shades before, that will help. I do have a video on my channel somewhere that talks about some tips for picking colours, so I will link that here for you guys if you want to check that out if you're kind of new to picking foundation shades for yourself. So going on already, I can see that it's giving quite nice coverage. It seems to be blending into my skin quite well. I will say that I do have a little bit of dry patchy skin here and it seems to be clinging to that a bit. It's not going to be picked up on camera, but I have a really magnified mirror that it's picking up on. So I think skincare is probably key with this foundation, and if you don't have well maintained skin, which not all of us do, clearly my skin included, this foundation is going to pick up on that a little bit. I'm going to switch to a beauty blender and just apply a little bit more using that. I haven't pumped out any more foundation yet. This is still just the 2 pumps. Some of the claims from the brand itself: this is supposed to be an oil-free lightweight formula with medium yet buildable coverage, which, I mean, that's what it seems to be at the moment. I can already see that it has evened out my skin tone somewhat. It's supposed to be long wearing, smudge proof, staying power, has an easy glide on application, skin looks and feels soft, fresh and natural. The colour is true and even looking shades. It's supposed to be super moisturising, super hydrating, antioxidant, vitamin rich with A, E and B5, and with continual use it's supposed to help reduce the appearance of fine lines. It's also paraben free, only tested on friends and family, and it's designed in Australia but made in Italy, which is an interesting little fact there. It does seem to glide on quite well, although the idea that it's hydrating is interesting because of the fact that it does seem to be clinging to my dry patches on my forehead here, so that's a little bit, I don't know, a bit iffy there. I am I'm going to take another pump, one more just here. It is quite a thick foundation. It's not super runny, as you can see. It does move down my hand, but it is quite slow there. I don't really know whether I like it better with a brush or whether I like it better with a sponge. To be honest, it seems to go on fairly similarly with both. I do think you can get a little bit more coverage with the sponge purely because I'm just dabbing it on rather than buffing it in, so it seems to sit on top of the skin a bit more and provide a bit more coverage. I'm just going over kind of a second layer here with whatever foundation's left on the back of my hand. The recommended retail price for the foundation is $29.95, which is probably in line with kind of L'Oreal pricing here in Australia. Seems like a lot, but that is kind of drugstore pricing here. You can get it in Maya and Target, and they often have 25% off sales. So it is definitely worth waiting for those sales because that brings the price down to about $22.50, which is a lot cheaper. For those of you outside of Australia, you can purchase the foundation on the Chi Chi website. I do know that they ship internationally. I'm not 100% sure on pricing of shipping and things like that, so I will link the website in the description box below so you guys can check out the products and read a little bit more about them, and then also see if it's viable to get the product to you wherever you may be living. So that is a couple of layers of foundation. I don't want to apply too much more. I can still see my skin, which is nice. I can see a few little spots, like leftover blemishes that it hasn't quite covered. I think if I applied a bit more foundation, I could cover that up. So I do think that this is a medium coverage. I do think you can almost probably get it to full coverage if you want to keep on layering it, but I think that it would start to get a little bit too thick, a little bit too much. I do like the colour match for my skin. This number 2 fair seems to work quite well. I think I'd probably move to number 3 in the summertime when I have a little bit more colouring. And overall it does have a nice finish to the skin. I would say that in certain areas, particularly areas where my skin is not in the best quality, like I said, that dry patch, and there's a little bit around my mouth as well, you can see the foundation, but it does cling to that. On areas where my skin is a little bit better, as in the texture of my skin is better, it does look quite natural and does seem to sort of blur my imperfections. My pores don't seem to be enhanced too much, which is a good thing as well, and it was easy to apply. Some other quick things I noticed while applying. One thing, it does have a light scent. It's kind of floral, definitely not overpowering or cloying in any way. There is a light scent there, but I don't think it would annoy many people unless you're super sensitive to scents. I actually think it smells quite pleasant. The other thing is that I couldn't really find anywhere if it had SPF in it of any kind. I don't think it does, and I will do a little bit more research, and if it does, I'll note that in the description box below. But from what I can see, it doesn't have any SPF, which means that it will be good for photography and things like that. It shouldn't give you that white flashback. So they are my initial thoughts of the foundation. I will try and zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see it up close, although I think I'm pretty much zoomed in as far as I can go. I am going to go off with the rest of my day. I'm going to finish off applying some makeup. I will pop on a light amount of powder just to see. I'm going to use the Rimmel Stay Matte. This is just the transparent one. I will pop a little bit just on my sort of T-zone area, since this is the area that is likely to get oily for me. And again, this is something that I would do for every single foundation that I wear. Okay, so that's it for now. I will speak to you guys all very soon. So guys, I am back. It is now just after 5 p.m. in the afternoon. It's been about 8 hours since I finished applying my makeup. As you can see, I did finish off my makeup look. I used my Tarte Rainforest After Dark palette, and I did film that as long as the little review, so I'll put a link to that at the end of this video as well as in the description box, so you guys can check that out if you want to see the rest of the makeup look. But overall, the foundation seems to have held up quite well. I don't seem to be particularly oily. I do have a little bit of dewiness kind of around my nose, but that's pretty much it. I mean, I didn't do anything super strenuous. I went out for lunch and then we went for some ice cream and stuff, but that seems to have lasted well. I would say that I've got a little bit of caking kind of around my nose and around my mouth on the sort of drier patches in the mobile sort of parts of my face, which is kind of a downside. Not terribly, but it is definitely there. You can kind of see where the foundation's kind of bunched together a little bit. I seem to have lost a little bit of my blush in that, but that's not necessarily the foundation's fault. Other than that, I think I can kind of see some of my like little spots poking through. Again, not too badly, but I have lost a little bit of the coverage there, although I probably have touched my face and wiped my face a little bit, especially since I ate, so that could be, I've lost some of the coverage because of that as well. So that is it. Overall, I would probably say that I'd give this foundation a 7 out of 10. It probably lost points because it didn't do so well with the dry patches on my skin. I think if your skin is not in great shape, then this foundation will probably emphasize that a little bit. A really good like silicone-y primer that kind of fills in those kind of things might help. Doesn't emphasize my pores at all, which is nice. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. You guys can kind of see for yourself what you think of the foundation. If you have tried it, let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts, any tricks that you have, your favorite way to apply it. That would be great. And other than that, I'm going to go. Hope you guys are all having a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you all next time. Bye!